Now, foreign ministers of the SCO are meeting in Goa to discuss regional security matters, including adding Iran and Belarus to the grouping. Amid fractured East-West relations, India, which holds the chairmanship of both G20 major economies and the SCO this year, is treading a diplomatic tightrope here. The Shanghai Cooperation Organisation, it's an intergovernmental organization founded in Shanghai on the 15th of June 2001. The theme of India's 2023 chairmanship is Secure SCO. Now, India attaches special importance to SCO in promoting multilateral political, security, economic and people-to-people interactions in the region. SCO pursues its policy based on the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity of nations and non-interference in internal affairs. Sergey Lavrov's visit is the third high-level visit from Russia in the last 3 weeks. Remember, Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Amaturov and Russian Defense Minister Sergey Shoigu visited New Delhi recently. The Indian Foreign Minister and his Russian counterpart held bilateral talks yesterday. Russian Foreign Ministry said a trust-based exchange of views took place. India has long-standing ties with Russia and has so far not condemned the Russian invasion of Ukraine. However, last year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi told Putin that it's not a time for war. Ties between India and China have seen a steep fall since the 2020 clash in Ladakh's Galwan Valley. Wang Yi, now China's top diplomat, visited New Delhi last year and met Indian counterpart S. Jaishankar. And in March, China's new foreign minister, Xi Gang, attended the G20 meeting in New Delhi. S. Jaishankar held bilateral talks with Xi Gang yesterday. The Indian minister said that the focus remains on resolving outstanding issues and ensuring peace and tranquility in border areas. Pakistan's foreign minister is also attending the SCO foreign ministers meet. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the first Pakistani foreign minister to visit India since 2011. New Delhi has consistently stressed for the need for Pakistan to take credible, irreversible and verifiable action to end cross-border terrorism against India. India expects Pakistan to fulfill assurances given at the highest level in 2004 and reiterated several times that territory under its control would not be allowed to be used for terrorism. Now, our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is joining us live from Goa. Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us. Now, just to begin with, what can we expect from the meet today?
Well, Haim, in a short while from now, the foreign ministers of the SCO participating countries will be arriving at the venue and they will be welcomed by the Indian External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. Body language is something that everyone is closely watching, especially between the Pakistani and, of course, the Chinese foreign ministers when they come to meet the Indian External Affairs Ministers. But in terms of the outcomes, there will be 15 key decisions that will be made in today's meeting that will feed into the summit that happens in the month of July in Delhi. One of the key decisions has been the modernization of the grouping. Now, we know that the grouping is looking at a major expansion and Iran and Belarus will become full-fledged member in July in Delhi. But today, 4 MOUs will be signed with 4 countries. These countries are Kuwait, UAE, Maldives and Myanmar, that will pave way for these countries becoming a dialogue partner of this grouping. That adds to the heft of this mega grouping.
Right, absolutely, Siddhant. Also, as I mentioned earlier, India, which holds the chairmanship of both the G20 major economies as well as the SCO this year, it has to tread a diplomatic tightrope here. What can you tell us about this rather difficult balancing act?
Well, diplomacy is always about balancing act, but essentially India is having this a moment in which it plans to use its leverage to resolve global issues from consensus on issues like climate change and connectivity, and that remains the focus both during its presidency of SCO and G20. India hosts the G20 leaders in September, the SCO leaders in the month of July, and before that we have seen foreign ministers meeting. So essentially India is very proud about it being the chair of the grouping and wants to showcase itself to the world. And that is why we have seen almost 100+ meetings when it comes to its SCO presidency, and when it comes to the G20 presidency, we know that almost every week there are major meetings. In fact, this month we'll see a major meet in the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So while it's a balancing act, it's also a moment for India to shine in the world.
Right. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Pakistan's foreign minister is also going to be attending the meeting. How is this significant for both India and Pakistan?
Well, the only significance out of the Pakistani foreign minister's visit is that it's after a decade's time that a Pakistani foreign minister is visiting India. It's almost 24 hours long visit, but essentially his visit is seen by both sides in terms of multilateral context. SCO has India and Pakistan, its members since 2017, and India as the chair of the grouping, and as per the protocol, invited all member countries including Pakistan. Now, we know that there are no bilateral conversations between the two sides, no structured meeting, but in a short while from now, when the Indian External Affairs Minister welcomes the Pakistani counterpart, the body language will be closely watched. Will there be a handshake, or will there be a namaste, is something that will be making headlines in any which way. But essentially, India has made it clear when it comes to Pakistan, cross-border terrorism remains the big worry for it.
Right, absolutely, Siddhant. Also, just to understand this better, they will also be discussing regional security matters as well as adding Iran and Belarus to the grouping. What can you tell us about their accession? And there you see the visuals that are coming in live from Goa. That was Bilawal Bhutto Zardari with Dr. S. Jaishankar. The meeting, SCO meet, is all set to begin. As you just saw in the visuals coming in live from Goa, that was Bilawal Bhutto Zardari with Dr. S. Jaishankar. Now, Pakistan's foreign minister, who's attending the SCO ministers meeting. This is the first Pakistani foreign minister to visit India since 2011. There are no bilaterals scheduled till now. From what we know so far, the Pakistan foreign minister will only be attending the SCO summit, and there are no bilaterals on the sidelines that have been announced as of yet. You can see the visuals coming on your screens right now. Now, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the first Pakistani foreign minister to visit India since 2011. As I mentioned earlier, New Delhi has consistently stressed the need for Pakistan to take credible, irreversible and verifiable action to end cross-border terrorism against India. And India expects Pakistan to fulfill assurances given at the highest level in 2004 that have been reiterated several times, also saying that the territory under its control would not be allowed to be used for terrorism. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.